Hey, Jaylen, right over here. Welcome back. Not getting called on for the Olympic roster there. How did that make you feel? And are
God
you carrying
damn,
any of
question
those?
number one.
Sorry, right off the bat.
I get to,
Not a lot of chances
you get
here.
to warm up a little. Shit.
That's how the season's gonna go, man. So just your emotions overall, your feelings. Are you carrying any of those feelings over into the new season in terms of what is motivating you to win again?
I'm ready to go. I'm excited about being back. You know, the past is the past, but I'm ready to get after it. You know, lead our guys, get the guys, build some team chemistry, not skip any steps, and just set the tone for another year again. I'm extremely motivated for obvious reasons, and I'm ready to get after it.
Jaylen, you've had a lot of off-court ventures this summer as well, between the new foundation and potentially the shoe, the song. Is there a particular thing off the court that you're particularly proud of that you accomplished this summer that maybe stands out in a long list of things?
Yeah, all of it. I think, yeah, like being able to extend out, my foundation from Boston Exchange to being able to launch it with Jason Kidd in Oakland, which was extremely cool because Oakland is like, a second home or third home, just being my proximity in Berkeley. But even being able to do something with J Kidd, even though we just competed in the NBA Finals, for him to, put that to the side and be able to still, put community first. I think that was pretty awesome. Being able to like explore the shoe market, what it takes to that goes into a company and a business, and I'm looking forward to be able to make some announcements a little bit later today. But you know, nothing beats being able to get back to your community. So being able to do some stuff like that with Jason Kidd in Oakland, and here looking forward to doing some stuff in Boston with Drew, my teammate. Nothing beats that.
Jaylen, you've been able to improve pretty much every year of your career. What did you focus on in terms of your game this summer that you want to improve on going into this year? What's going to be the key for the team sustaining without Chris Stapps early on?
Definitely be a little bit more of a load for guys to carry. We got to have guys step up. I'm looking for guys to take steps forward. Guys that have been here, been a part of the system. They're gonna, try to push them to be, better versions of themselves. That's exciting. And as a leader, trying to bring that out of everybody and just make sure all the pieces of the ship are just moving smoothly. For me personally, I worked on everything. I know I say this every year, but this is the best that I've ever felt, and the hardest that I've ever worked. In the midst of traveling, I've been able to balance that with really getting after it. So I'm excited.
Hey, Jaylen, it feels like every year since you've been in the league, there's been some sort of change, whether it's a head coaching change or, a starter getting traded or just major moves within the organization. Going into this year, it feels like the first time in a really unique scenario where the team who just won a title is almost exactly the same. Joe's back for another year. How grateful are you to have that, continuation year over year, and how different is the feeling going into this year?
It's kind of weird, actually, having some stability, because over the last courses of years, we have had coaches change. Coaches leave during the middle of the season, trades, players in and out. But nobody mentions that when you lose. So it's good to hear it as an excuse now when you win, that we have some stability. But it definitely feels a little bit different. But I think it'll be good for us. Continue to build off the chemistry that we already have, and just trying to take some leaps forward. Obviously, KP is big for us. So we're going to have to carry the load a little bit more, but we'll figure it out.
Jaylen, when you look at, to your right, when you look at some of the offseason maneuvering other teams have done with Philadelphia adding a great wing defender, the Knicks adding a great wing defender, even Oklahoma City adding another wing defender, has it felt to you like teams are building out their rosters with beating you guys in mind?
Has it felt like that? I'm only focused on what our organization is doing. I could care less what what's going on around the league. They're doing what they feel is best. So I don't have really any feelings towards it, but yeah, it kind of seems like that, from the outside looking in. But no thoughts really.
Jaylen in the middle. We know today is probably the first time all you guys are in the same room together after all offseason. We heard from Joe, hoping the target's between the eyes, detachment versus attachment, but where does the confidence come from you that this team, after knowing what it takes to win the whole thing, is bringing that same approach this offseason and maybe even more to go and win another title?
What's the question?
Just where does the confidence come from that this team, after winning it all, is still just as motivated, maybe even more because everyone's gunning to take you guys down and get it?
I mean, I think it comes through work, the confidence for sure. But, you know, I think that we just got a stellar group of guys. We got a guys that just have great mentalities. So I don't think it'd be as hard to maintain that consistency. We just got to make sure that we continue to emphasize and hold each other accountable. You know, hopefully, you know, we stay healthy for the large part of the year, but I'm excited. We got a great group of guys, a great team chemistry, a great locker room. So we just got to take it one day at a time and see where we go from there. But it's been an honor being around some of these guys for X amount of years. So I'm looking forward to this journey because of the guys I get to share the locker room with.
I noticed the shoes you're wearing. You're going to wear those all offseason. It looks like new shoes. We saw you debut.
Yes, sir. We'll be wearing, you know, different variations, but these shoes all season. I'm looking forward to making some announcements later today. But I'm excited about it and excited to explain to you guys the journey and the process that I've been on, all the ups and downs, everything that's happened behind closed doors. I'm sharing the whole experience that kind of goes on in the sneaker market and sneaker companies from grassroots up. You know, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with it, but I'll be able to articulate it a lot clearer than most. So I'm looking forward to doing that when the time presents itself.
Thanks.
Jaylen, you know, as the longest tenured Celtic here, I wanted to get your reaction to Wick selling the team. And
That's just like a way of calling somebody old. Like
you're too young to be old. You're too young to be old. NBA moves fast, but you are the longest tenured guy. So I want to get your reaction to Wick selling the team, and also, do you have any concerns about that affecting the great organizational alignment you guys have, and ultimately this championship window you have?
I think, you know, I've had the honor to build relationships with the ownership group that we've had, and it's been a partnership that we've worked on continuously on and off the floor to be able to lead to the championship that we just achieved. You know, obviously with that ownership group switching, that it would be some learning and growing that would be need to met in order to get accustomed. But hopefully it's a smooth transition. That's what we all hope for, but we're gonna have to just wait and see.
You've talked about last year kind of how you were driven by the times you guys fell short. This year, after succeeding, winning a championship, how do you kind of tap back into that? How do you plan to approach trying to repeat?
I don't know. It kind of just it feels the same. Honestly, I feel the same. Then the year before when we lost, it was kind of like the lowest of low for me. You know, I feel like it was my responsibility. You know, when we lost in Game 7, kind of fell short. And then now it feels like, you know, we won, and it was like the same kind of deal, but just opposite end of the spectrum, right? But they kind of feel the same when you kind of like look at them in hindsight, because they both can you can go one way or the other in both of those directions. Like when you're at the bottom, you can go one way or the other. When you're at the top, you can keep going and break, or you can go down. So it kind of feels weirdly, oddly enough, the same. Another couple weeks, but no complaints here. I'd rather end every season like we did last year. So let's get it going.
Final three: Bill, Corrales, and Gary.
Jaylen, right here. You mentioned stability. I think we could probably look at the president, Brad Stevens, and you played for him as a coach. You've seen him develop now as a president/general manager. Can you talk about what impresses you most about what Brad's done here in your time?
Yeah, I think, you know, talk about transitions. Brad was one of the people that was able to make a transition from being a coach and doing something that was a little bit more day-to-day to being in the front office, and he, you know, it was probably one of the more natural transitions that we probably ever witnessed. Obviously, he had a great foothold on the group that we had as being a coach, but I think he's even surpassed that being a GM. And I think a part of that is because he went directly into that transition, and we were so close with Brad as a coach that he knew exactly the pieces that we were kind of needed and were looking for, and he's been able to kind of position us to have success. So, you know, shout out to Brad, his transition and his growth as a leader in the front office, and he's still young, he's still learning, he's still growing.
Thank you.
Jaylen, promise I'm not trying to make you feel old when I say this, but you are about to turn 28 and you're going into year 9. You've gone through a lot. You've now as a champion, you're about to launch a shoe, you're doing all this stuff in the community. Where does this put you as a person, as Jaylen Brown, as compared to where you were earlier in your career?
It's been growth. I've had to experience a lot of adversity through life, through this organization, through my journey, a lot of people, a lot of doubts, a lot of ins and outs to get to where I'm at. And I'm grateful. I wouldn't exchange it for anything, because even in those moments of doubt, or those moments of where I heard boos, or people wanted me gone, or you know, they didn't think I deserved what I got, that kind of ultimately made me who I was, you know. So all of those moments, you know, I think cultivate you. I think adversity is that in itself. Like we often look at, like, you know, blessings as being something positive, but all the blessings in my life have been like the adversity and the negative things that have happened, like being benched as early, you know, being kind of, you know, getting the short end of the stick. We had a bunch of guys early on in my career. It's been a lot of stuff, and all of those moments I look back on, and it just added to my demeanor, my mindset, and kind of where I'm at now and where I'm about to go. So I'm actually grateful. I wouldn't have changed anything, and I'm glad nothing was handed to me. I was a third pick, but I feel like I had to earn everything in this organization, where it hasn't always been the case. But, you know, for me, that's been my personal story, and I feel like it's gonna help me for what I'm about to do.
Jaylen, I think you posted maybe a month ago or a few weeks ago that you were having a great summer. Like, you were like, hey, I don't know about none of y'all, but I'm enjoying myself. What was different about this summer than previous summers? And then there's a perception that you have an attitude like you are not the nicest guy, or you're not the happiest guy. Did this summer change that, or did you want to show that you enjoy yourself, you have a good time, you're enjoying a championship? Like, what went into that, kind of that expressing that you're having a good time, and that your image, it seems to be different?
I don't want to state the obvious, but we won a championship. So I think that's largely what went into it. That's what excited me. That's what made me have an awesome summer. You spent your whole life dreaming to be a champion. Like, you know, like I've watched from when I was young to now, you know, different moments of people winning, and I've always looked at that and be like, this is what I wanted for myself. So when I got to that point where that was me, like it was bliss, you know. So it's been a lot of other great moments as well. Being able to go to Umrah, being able to go to the ESPYs, being able to, you know, watch my teammates win a gold medal, being able to do a lot of great stuff this summer that just all kind of swung it together. But, you know, winning the championship was just something that I've manifested for a long time. So I think ultimately that just, you know, it's just made my joy a lot different, because when you lose, you know, it's hard, you know, and year after year we were close, but those are years my heart was broken every single year. I mean, we got close for, I don't know, what, 5, 6 seasons we were in the conference finals. So I had 6 heartbreaks before I got to finally feel what it like to win. So, you know, this summer my heart wasn't broken.